We are all devastated by the news that we have just heard from Balmoral. The death of Her Majesty the Queen is a huge shock to the nation and to the world.
Today's edition is dedicated to the death of the Queen Elizabeth, and to God we belong and to Him we will return. So Islam Channel would like to express its sincere condolences to the royal family and to express its gratitude to the Queen for her lifelong service to the British people and her support for the British Muslim community. We'll be looking at the life of Queen Elizabeth and in particular her interactions with Muslims, not just here in Britain, but also abroad. She visited a number of Muslim countries during her reign. So for example, in 1954, she went to Libya. In 1961, she went to Iran. She also visited Turkey in 1971, Indonesia in 1974, and in 1979 she had a whirlwind tour of Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE and Oman. In 1980 she visited Tunisia, Algeria and Morocco, and most recently she visited the Abu Dhabi Grand Mosque in 2010. Today is a day for reflection. Over the next few days and weeks, it will be a moment of joining our fellow neighbours and community leaders in remembering her life as we mark the years that she has reigned. She was aged 96 years old, a remarkable reign that started at a very, very young age. She took the throne after the death of her father, who himself only became king because of the abdication of his brother. And throughout all the years, she has seen enormous changes in this country. She lived through the Second World War, saw at first hand the devastation of fascism and dictatorship throughout Europe and the world, and she saw the disintegration of the British Empire to be replaced by independent countries, and even today, many of whom count her as the head of their state. Now, when we talk about the Queen and the monarchy, sometimes there are lots of views, sometimes there are lots of opinions. However, this is the right moment, I think, for us to look back on her interactions with Muslims. It's undoubted that when she became queen, or at least when she was a princess, Britain, this country, was still the head of the British Empire, which spanned so many countries around the globe. In her honours list, she regularly gave awards to Muslims, whether they were footballers or captains of industry, and Muslim leaders were also invited to royal ceremonies, such as weddings and Thanksgiving. We know many Muslims were knighted by the Queen. Some who were, head of many important organisations, such as the MCB, became knights, and some also entered the House of Lords. And one thing I always noticed is how every year she would open Parliament and she would read out the speech. She would have to wear all the regalia, yet she carried it out in such a wonderful style and wonderful service to the country. In terms of her relationships with Muslims in the UK, she visited the East London Mosque. Excuse me. Her family visited the East London Mosque and the Al Manar Mosque in West London, and her son Prince Charles, who now becomes king, so King Charles, made some very, very favourable comments towards Islam, saying that he wanted to be a defender of faith, not just defender of the faith. What is the future of the monarchy? Those are questions that will be decided later on. But I think at this moment in time, on what is a very sad day for the country, it's only right that we reflect upon the life of Her Majesty the Queen and talk about how she impacted this country.